In this morning's Breakfast Bible Bites, we'll dig a little deeper into God's application of affliction as a training tool. The psalmist records in Psalm 119, 67 and 68, "Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I keep your word. You are good and do good. Teach me your statutes." Today we read the word afflicted as aggrieved or stricken, but I think the rendition in several other Bible manuscripts lends a better light. Both the Septuagint and the Latin Vulgate translate the word afflicted as humbled. And in that context, I think it makes more sense. In general, the word can mean any type of trial, but what the psalmist is really trying to say is that before the Lord humbled him, he was prone to choosing wrong and going in the wrong direction, going astray. The word translated as astray can mean several things. It could mean to wander, or that he forgot his commitment to God, or that he lived in the collective of his God-given conscience. However, the effect of the humbling has caused the psalmist to return to his dedication of the Lord. On this side of the cross, especially in our own day where we can be filled with the indwelling presence of Christ's Holy Spirit, the humbling brought on by God's outcomes-based education will most often return the Spirit-filled Christian to the way of godliness. We read in Hebrews 12:11 that all discipline for the moment seems not to be joyful, but sorrowful. Yet to those who are being trained by it afterwards, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness. According to Hebrews 5:14, it is our bodily senses that must be trained to overcome the temptations of the flesh. Satan knows our weaknesses, and it is an easy path of destruction from obedience. As proof, ask yourself about the temptation of the first sin in the Garden of Eden. Eve saw that the tree was good for food and delighted to look at, and that it was desirable for obtaining wisdom. She took some fruit and ate it. Or just think how hungry Jesus was when he was tempted by Satan in the desert, saying, "Turn these stones into bread." However, the child of God, in every case, the affliction will be a benefit, either in the here and now or when we are called home to receive rewards at the bema. Ultimately, some dangerous error, transgression, or fleshly habit will be changed. According to James in chapter 1, the afflictions are among the most precious displays of God's grace and his love. He writes in chapter 2 in James 2 through 4 that we should consider it all joy, my brethren, when we encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of our faith produces endurance, and we should let endurance have its perfect results, so that we may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Whenever a trial comes our way, we can count it as joy because the Father is disciplining us, and the trial is entirely under the direction of God. Hebrews 12:5 reads, and you have forgotten the exhortation which is addressed to you as sons. My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor faint when you are reproved by him. For those whom the Lord loves he disciplines, and he scourges every son whom he receives. Therefore the psalmist pens the words again, "Teach me your statutes." The New Testament teaches that the law of the Old Testament was given to us as a tutor to teach us about God's precepts and principles, the principles for godly living. It is up to us to submit to them. Jesus said, "If you love me, you will obey me." That's in John 14:15.